Libertarian Thunderdome, which was quite apt. And I have thoughts, and I have feels, like we all do. We are passionate people, as it is said. So, first thing I wanted to address, and I had promised to do this, on some comments that were made. Well, first of all, everyone does or says things in life that might be a little hasty. So whenever anyone has a disagreement with me, I like to flesh out exactly what it is, because not everything I say in the spur of a moment is something that I would not walk back, and I hope everyone has that kind of attitude. But in this particular case of something I'm going to address today is something I will gladly defend. Comments have been made from several quarters that myself and some others have, I need to do my air quotes, so let me, I'm on a laptop, so if it falls down, weaponized the bylaws. Now that is a hill I will die on. Not that phrase, but the actions with regards to the bylaws. And I'm going to explain that. I realize there are people on both sides of the issue that will not be persuaded. And that's just the way it is. And that includes hardcore supporters of mine. They're not going to be persuaded one way or another. And some other people who are determined to have a saint or a sinner, rather than the messy gray area that people actually are not going to be persuaded. I'm not speaking to either of those groups of people, to be honest with you. I'm speaking with people who will hear arguments and consider the evidence. And this isn't to put down people in either camp, because there are certain issues that I'm unpersuadable. Actually, on this issue, I'm unpersuadable if it was someone else talking, because I've given it a lot of thought, and I'm very firmly in one particular camp. Most people haven't given this issue a lot of thought because they have lives. I envy them. I envy people who have lives enough not to have given this so much thought. But let me submit a proposition to you. And this is a proposition I will gladly debate. In fact, I would like this to be, in a series of debates, a debate proposition. It is impossible to weaponize bylaws, just like it's impossible to weaponize the Constitution. The bylaws is the exact analogous thing in our organization. We are a mini government, as it were. The members are equivalent to citizens, and the various governing bodies at county and state, city, whatever national levels are the governing bodies. They are the government. What are the rules we've agreed upon in this society? It is our bylaws. And the bylaws protect everyone, from the group down to an individual member. That is why bylaws cannot be suspended, no matter how great the vote, which is why it is impossible to weaponize bylaws, because as long as one person insists upon their rights under the bylaws, they hold. Same as the Constitution. And we should know this very, very well as libertarians. But it seems what we've given into the temptation to is there's a scary virus out there. And I am not saying that sarcastically. Let me tell you, I'm sitting in a car right now, but when I go out, I've got this right here. I have gallons of hand sanitizer at home. My husband right now is showing houses with a mask on, walking around per Colorado law for realtors with we already went through one big thing. We've got multiple things of these, because this is what they're required to walk around with, every single thing they touch. So the virus is scary. So I get deadly scared of the flu each year, because unlike a lot of people who didn't really know much about 1918 before this year, I'd been studying it for years and have been terrified. I wasn't surprised by this. I expected it, unfortunately. So, we have fallen to the same temptation as our federal government. We have a scary virus out there. So what do? Well, we do have a model of governance that's governed by our bylaws. And we've said now, because there's an emergency, because there's something that's frightening, because of fear, legitimate fear, that we can bend those items, that we can bend those bylaws. How is that any different from the government suspending the rights of people because pandemic? It is no different. I suspect people on this issue will line up on various sides depending upon how they feel about what the federal government has done. I submit to you that if you are on the side that the federal government has overstepped its boundaries, no matter how scary the virus is, then you must agree with me that we cannot do the same with our bylaws. We must model our principles, or we cannot presume to lecture the rest of the world on what they should be doing. Our principles and our integrity are all that we have. Let me give an example that doesn't have anything to do with the virus. What have we seen over the decades? There's been a shooting. We're scared. We're scared for our children. We're scared for the safety of the streets. So we're willing, we as an American people, maybe not you, maybe not me, or maybe us at some time. When I wasn't a libertarian, I voted for gun restrictions. Guilty. Because I was scared. Guns scary. I'm still scared of guns. I'm a pacifist. But I've now come to realize that my fear doesn't justify limiting other people's rights. And the government and the courts have made excuses over the years to find ways around the very plain language of our Constitution. The right of the people to keep and bear arms shall not be abridged. Shall not be abridged is pretty damn clear. But I feel our rights have been pretty abridged. Libertarian philosophy says they've been pretty abridged. Our platform calls for the repeal of all gun laws. Why? Because our rights are not negotiable. But you want to know what? It's mostly Democrats, but I wouldn't say it's all them. Let's just say the people in favor of gun control. You want to know what they say? Times have changed. We don't live in the time when the Constitution was written. Don't weaponize the Second Amendment against our children. Haven't you heard that argument or some variation of it? I have, and I will not do that with our bylaws. Will not. And if you don't agree with that, I hope you're consistent and agree that we can weaponize the Constitution as well. And if you do agree with that, I hope you'll stand with me on this issue. You don't have to stand with me on others. But here's a problem I've seen in our party. I said earlier, there's this perverse need. It's more on social media, not in our party. Let me just say, in our party on social media. People are either heroes or zeros, and that's it. But unfortunately, reality's not that way. That's why I love Game of Thrones. I know I'm going off a tangent here because there were no heroes and no villains. You started off like hating Jaime Lannister, and then towards the end, you started to get sympathy for him again, and then you ended up hating him again. And those were George R.R. Martin wanted to create realistic characters, and he certainly did. People aren't all one or the other. We're complicated. But one thing that has really, really disappointed me, that when we disagree on one action, we then have to separate ourselves from the whole person or demonize them. I'm going to give an example. The person I am speaking of will probably know I'm speaking of them. Maybe not, because unfriended, not from me. But I'm going to try to be vague as possible because it's about them, but it's not about them. There was a person that I got to meet recently, and we got along really, really well. But then this person disagreed with me on this issue, and all of a sudden they hate me. Why can't I just be wrong on this issue? Why does it have to be like this? I have hope that it doesn't have to be like this. And if it does, we're doomed. Not we, the Libertarian Party, we, the American people. We, humanity. Don't demonize people. Disagree with positions. But try to understand where the people are coming from. That's called strongmanning. I firmly believe in strongmanning. That's my beagle whining in the background. Xena! Xena! Come say hi! She's being stubborn. Come here, Xena, come here, come say hi. Come here. Isn't she adorable? Look at this. Look at the beagle face. Look at the beagle face. Oh my god. Yes, yes. Okay, she's cute. You want to be my campaign manager? You're so cute. Okay. Let's not do that. Let's absolutely not do that. I will not name call. My husband's coming back in a minute, but I'm almost done. And anyone who supports me, don't dishonor me by name calling either. If someone insults me, it's an insult. It speaks more about them than it does about you or about me. And I seriously believe it harms their soul. So keep your soul intact. Or if you're secular, your integrity. I think we can kind of analogize those two things. And yes, I am wearing a classic Badneric t-shirt. I just pulled this out of the drawer today and I figured it made me smile. So things that bring you joy, is that TV show? I will keep this. It does bring me joy. I will keep the beagle. The beagle does bring me joy. I will keep the husband. The husband does bring me joy. Oh, and for those of you who are wondering why my typing had sucked a little bit lately, see, look, I got some new nails on. I made these myself. I learned how to do it all myself. Now, they're not acrylic, they're polygel. Be working on acrylic next. Now, I hope this answered some questions. The next little blurb I'm going to do was some questions on some things that happened during last meeting. And it will give a reason why, not why, but give something of my philosophy. I want to let you walk in my shoes a little bit as to why at this point in my life, I just go, I'm going to be me. Some people are going to hate it. Some people are going to love it. But if I would drive myself crazy, stop whining, it's not attractive. I will drive myself crazy if I twist and turn trying to please people because it's impossible. And I'll get more into that later. Now, I hope you found this helpful. If you have a urge to name call, don't do it for the sake of me. Do it for the sake of yourself. I'm just seeing what they're doing. But otherwise, I will talk to you guys soon. Ciao. Love you.